and the investigation that we did on the HMAS Diamantina. And guys, in case you exactly, man, and you can tell them all about it. But firstly, guys, the news is that we are the very first paranormal investigators in the whole ship's entire lifetime to investigate it. So,
now this ship was also built around I think it was 1860. He said to us, Casper. I think it was about 1860 that the Diamantina was actually built.
And after that champagne comment, hopefully you're the last paranormal group to be allowed into the Maritime Museum to investigate the HMAS Diamantina. Hello everybody to the next iteration of November. Now, for anyone who's following us on Facebook, if you haven't already, jump over to our Facebook page and hit the like button so that you're getting the notifications. November stands for no to the unscrupulous paranormal groups who have cropped up in the last couple of years, who are manipulating social media and putting out a ton of videos, posts, you know what, and absolutely diluting Brisbane history. And a like from the Facebook page is going to get you notifications, hopefully, fingers crossed, given Facebook's current status, some notifications on what we're doing this month, because you're going to get a ton of paranormal stuff coming through, a ton of debunk stuff getting through. And this is probably a really good example where we're going to get some paranormal stuff in real time. Now, for anyone who has grown up in Brisbane, whether it was the 1970s, the 1980s, and as I was, the 1990s, everybody knows the Maritime Museum in South Bank. Most of us went there on school excursions as kids. Clearly, these two jokers from Night Watchers Paranormal didn't, and clearly they didn't care to have a look into the history. But anyone who has been on the HMAS Diamantina knows that it is a warship. It's a relatively recent warship. So anyone who thinks that it was built in the 1860s, Pete, good on you, mate, would have to be a bit of a gronk. Now, when we have a look at the HMAS Diamantina, she was laid down in the mid-1940s, so she wasn't commissioned until 1945 and went out to sea. So 1860 is a little bit of a jump. Now, for anyone who has grown up, especially around Brisbane and up sort of north of Brisbane, might know the HMQS Gander. Now, the HMQS Gander was a beautiful warship in her time. She was actually commissioned and set to sail in 1886. Now, the HMQS Gander is actually sitting off Woody Point. She's virtually rusted away to almost nothing these days. But when we have a look at the HMQS Gander, she's a very, very basic warship. Now, considering that is 1886, Pete, if you think that the HMAS Diamantina was 1860, this is what an 1860 warship looks like, or an 1860s warship looks like. Now, considering that that is what an 1860s warship looks like versus the amazing World War II era ship that you supposedly went and investigated, then I can't help you. It's not a slip of the tongue. You clearly don't understand history. You don't even have common sense. So with that said, considering that, Pete, you've said that you're going to put up some teasers for this.
It's going to be a two-part. It's going to be a two-parter. Part one, part two. I've already finished editing part one. All right. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little teaser together and drop that out there for a few days just to get the interest happening and get people creative. Yeah, get people ready to watch it.
Juices.
Yeah, exactly. Get all that happening. That keep an eye out for that teaser. That'll be out in the next day, probably tomorrow sometime. I'll probably work on that for a couple of hours tonight, and then I might even upload it tonight as a teaser.
I'm very much looking forward to your teasers, Pete. Let's see what you guys come out with, part 1, part 2, but I'll be eagerly watching. So who knows, you might make yet another November day before this month is out.